Inside a small leather notebook are sketches of a helicopter, a tank, a diving suit, a machine gun, all of it drawn roughly 400 years before any of those things would actually exist. The man who drew them never built most of it. He barely even finished his paintings. And yet, he's remembered as one of the greatest minds who ever lived. His name was Leonardo, born in 1452 in a small town called Vinci, just outside Florence. He was born outside of marriage, the son of a notary and a peasant woman. At the time, that single fact closed almost every respectable door in front of him. He couldn't attend Florence's formal schools. He couldn't follow his father into law. So instead, he wandered. He observed. He sketched insects, plants, water, light, anything that held still long enough to study. What looked like a disadvantage became the foundation of how his mind would always work. At 17, he was sent to Florence to apprentice under a respected artist named Andrea del Verrocchio. It didn't take long for his talent to become obvious. According to legend, after Leonardo painted a single angel in one of his master's works, Verrocchio was so stunned he considered giving up painting entirely. But there was already a pattern forming, one that would define his entire life. Leonardo struggled to finish things, not from laziness, but from an endless, restless curiosity that constantly pulled him towards something new before the last idea was complete. He became fascinated with the human body itself. He performed dozens of dissections over the years, carefully sketching muscles, organs, and bones in extraordinary anatomical detail. No one had documented the human body quite this precisely before. Some of his anatomical drawings remained more accurate than anything else available for centuries. He didn't stop at the human body. He studied birds in flight and tried to design machines that could fly the same way. He sketched something resembling an early helicopter. He designed parachutes, gliders, and wings driven by pedals and pulleys. None of it ever got built. The materials and engineering of his time simply weren't ready for his ideas. When he needed income, he offered his skills to powerful patrons, including the Duke of Milan, sometimes designing weapons and war machines rather than art. He sketched an armored vehicle resembling a tank and a multi-barreled weapon built to fire continuously. Centuries before modern warfare, his notebooks already contained its blueprints. Despite constant distraction, he did complete a handful of masterpieces. Around 1495, he began painting The Last Supper on a monastery wall in Milan. It remains one of the most recognized paintings in the world, though even this one began deteriorating rapidly due to an experimental painting technique he chose to use. Around 1503, he began a portrait of a Florentine merchant's wife, a relatively small, unremarkable commission at the time. He kept that painting with him for years, quietly refining it again and again, long after most artists would have called it finished and moved on. That painting was the Mona Lisa. Today, it's considered the most famous portrait ever created. By the end of his life, Leonardo had filled an estimated 13,000 pages of notebooks, diagrams, inventions, anatomical studies, observations about water, light, geology, and motion. Almost none of it was published while he was alive. Most of the world had no idea how deep his curiosity actually ran. Near the end of his life, a stroke left his right hand partially paralyzed. Being left-handed, he could still draw, just not with the same ease as before. He kept working anyway, for as long as his body would allow it. Leonardo da Vinci died in 1519. He left behind only about 15 completed paintings and an entire ocean of unfinished ideas. Centuries later, engineers, scientists, and artists would still be discovering insights buried in those scattered, unpublished pages. He didn't need to finish everything he imagined. He simply needed to imagine it first.